Koalas are fascinating creatures that have many unique characteristics, but one of the most interesting features they share with humans is their fingerprints. These adorable tree-dwelling animals have fingerprints that look almost identical to those of humans, and this discovery has intrigued scientists for years. The similarities between koala and human fingerprints are so striking that even under a microscope, it's difficult to tell them apart. To understand why this is so special, it's helpful to first know what fingerprints are and why they are important. Fingerprints are the unique patterns of ridges, loops, and swirls that form on the tips of our fingers. These patterns are formed during early development in the womb and remain unchanged throughout a person's life. No two people in the world have the same fingerprints, which is why they are often used for identification purposes, such as in criminal investigations or security systems. Koalas, like humans, have distinct fingerprints on their hands and feet. However, what makes koala fingerprints so fascinating is their striking resemblance to human fingerprints. When scientists studied the koala's fingerprints under a microscope, they found that the ridges and lines of the koala's fingers are almost identical to those found in humans. In fact, they are so similar that it's nearly impossible to tell them apart, even under close inspection. One key reason why this similarity is so surprising is that koalas and humans are very different animals. Koalas are marsupials, meaning they are more closely related to kangaroos and wombats than to primates like humans. In contrast, humans are mammals, and our evolutionary path is quite distinct from that of koalas. Despite these differences, koalas and humans seem to have developed similar patterns of fingerprints. This has raised many questions for scientists about why such a similarity exists. It is important to understand that the reason behind the similarity of fingerprints in koalas and humans isn't fully understood. However, scientists believe that the fingerprints of both species may serve similar purposes. For example, koalas use their sharp, human-like fingers to grip tree branches and climb with great agility. Their fingers are perfectly suited for life in the trees, where they spend most of their time. The ridges on their fingerprints may help improve their grip on the rough bark of trees, making it easier for them to hold on as they move around in their environment. Humans, on the other hand, also rely on our fingertips for tasks that require fine motor skills, like holding objects or using tools. Our fingerprints help increase friction and grip, which is essential for holding on to things securely. In both humans and koalas, the patterns on their fingertips may have evolved to serve a functional purpose that helps them interact with their surroundings more effectively. Even though koalas and humans might share similar fingerprint patterns, there are still some differences. For example, koalas have a larger number of ridges on their fingertips compared to humans. This gives them a more textured grip, which could help them climb trees with even more precision. Additionally, koalas have 3 opposable fingers on each hand, which is different from the 2 opposable thumbs that humans have. These adaptations allow koalas to be excellent climbers and to move around their treetop habitats with ease. Another fascinating aspect of koalas' fingerprints is the way they are used in the wild. Koalas are solitary animals, and they often mark their territory by rubbing their scent glands against tree trunks. They don't use their fingerprints in the same way humans do for identification or security, but their fingerprints could potentially play a role in marking and identifying individuals in the wild. When koalas climb trees, their unique fingerprints may leave subtle marks on the bark, which could help other koalas recognize their presence in a specific area. In the case of humans, fingerprints have been an important tool for identification for centuries. The uniqueness of our fingerprints means they are a reliable way to identify individuals. Police use fingerprints to solve crimes, and they are also used in personal identification systems like unlocking phones or accessing secure locations. However, for koalas, the practical purpose of their fingerprints remains a mystery. They may not need them for identification the way we do, but they could still play a role in their interaction with their environment. The similarity between koala and human fingerprints is a remarkable example of how different species can evolve similar traits, even if they are not closely related. It raises interesting questions about the ways in which nature works to solve similar problems, like gripping and climbing, using different approaches. While koalas and humans have very different lifestyles and evolutionary histories, they have both developed fingerprints that help them survive and thrive in their respective environments. In conclusion, the fact that koalas have fingerprints nearly identical to those of humans is a fascinating example of nature's ability to create similar traits in different species. Though koalas and humans are very different animals, their fingerprints serve similar functions in helping them navigate and interact with their world. The discovery of this similarity has sparked curiosity and wonder among scientists, as it highlights the many mysterious and surprising ways that evolution works. Even though we may never fully understand why koalas and humans have such similar fingerprints, it remains one of the most intriguing facts about these remarkable marsupials.